Coming up on your favorite podcast. Yeah, I get it. I know we haven't had a pod in a while, but that's not all my fault. We had some COVID stuff, had some technical difficulties. I'm working through it here, people. I'm just one guy, but we're going to get back on track tonight. That's my hope. Tyus is coming in here to chat golf with us for the next hour or so. Catch up on what we missed at Torrey Pines, obviously what we saw at the Bonesaw Open in Saudi Arabia over the weekend, and also catch up with Jordan Spieth's near win at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Get the table set for this week at Phoenix, which is one of our favorite tournaments of the year. We're going to get into it, have a conversation. Should be fun. So it's Ty, it's me, it's golf. We're going to plow through any potential technical issues we may have and handle it with aplomb, because that's what we do here at the podcast. So that is next. Enjoy. Hey, I say. It's the Tim Anderson Podcast. I'm Tim. That is my buddy Ty. And technical issues aside and everything else that we've tried to do the last 2 weeks, we're finally here, Tyus, and it's so good to see you.
We are here, and we are determined to make it. I'm excited to talk some fun golf. We have a fun one this week.
Lot to get to. Holy cow. Maybe it's a good thing we didn't have a pod last week, because I feel like the golf world just jumped all over the place last week and turned on its ear with Phil and with everything else that was happening. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, certainly a lot to talk about. Some people that we were worried about had good performances, and some people that we were worried about had poor performances. So, like you said, a lot to talk about.
Are you starting to Jones for the golf season? We see our first 40-degree day in 2 months today here in Minnesota. It's been a very cold December, January, into February. Days like today, though, get you a little excited, right?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I would say I'm jonesing a little bit. Once I'm done with my annual Florida trip, then I have nothing to look forward to until golf season. So that's when I'll really be feeling it.
Yeah, I've got my trip. I'm going to be playing Madeiras Golf Club in the next, I'm counting it down, a little over a month. I'll be out in California playing there. And then we're going to play golf here. We're hoping to play some March golf. I still think it's possible. We've played a lot of March golf here in this state the last handful of years. Want to continue to do that. Just eager to get out. Had our first school announcement back at the job site for boys and girls golf tryouts soon. So that tells you spring's right around the corner and gets us going. I'm super jazzed now. Yeah,
no groundhog over here. We're just waiting for the old spring golf announcements. Then we know it's coming.
Yeah, got to get no question about it. Leagues are going to start having meetings soon. I know I'm excited because, again, I'm getting back in a league for the first time in a couple years. Looking forward to that. That should be a fun time, and I know Ty's looking forward to it as well. All right, Tyus. Where do you want to start? Do you want to double back a little bit and just talk about just general observations for the first month of the golf season post New Year, or do you want to just talk last week, or do you want to go Bonesaw? Do you want to go AT&T? Where do you want to go?
Let's get Bonesaw out of the way, because it's not something we want to talk about, but we have to talk about it, right? It's 100%. A golf podcast, and it's part of the golf world right now. So let's start there.
All right, Harold Varner III wins the tournament. Here's the thing. I like Harold Varner III. I do. I do. I hate that he won this tournament, though. Just hate it, because it's dang it. And I understand why guys like Harold Varner take that tournament, because it's probably a good payday for him. Probably gets a lot of money in appearance fees, and it's probably good for him to go over there. I understand it, but boy, I just hate it. The Varner story is good because he wins the tournament, but I think the other stuff that was kind of rumored around there, and then of course the direct quotes from Phil, those are the things that stand out.
Absolutely. Can Phil just go away? Is that too much to ask?
Oh God, I can't believe Phil is unbelievable.
What's happened in a year?
The Phil
clearly has it out for the PGA Tour. I'm honestly not totally sure what it is. They've given him a heck of a platform for a long time. It's getting a bit tiresome though, in a hurry, because again, a year ago we weren't talking about this. Phil was himself, and he was, exuberant and animated, but he didn't have it out for the PGA Tour. And, I'll be the first to, I think, to criticize leagues when they deserve it. Pretty much every major sports league has had their moments, but I don't know that there's a ton to pick at with the PGA Tour. And I'm not totally sure what Phil's angle is here. He has the opportunity now to kind of ride off into the sunset and do his whole Ryder Cup thing, and he seems determined to take it in a totally different direction. And again, I'm kind of befuddled by it. I don't understand it at all, and I think it's personal. I don't know what it is, but I think it's personal.
The thing with like Phil is the same thing with Greg Norman, right? Greg Norman went away. Like, that's the thing. Like, he went away. He became not a factor on the tour because he was trying to start his own thing and get away from the PGA Tour because he wanted his own money. He wanted way more money than just what he was getting. And he was the number one player in the world, and he wanted a lot more control of his assets. And needless to say, he wanted to become a tycoon. He wanted to be like a billionaire and not just a millionaire. Phil seems like the same thing. Phil looks like a guy that right now is like, I've made a lot of money, but I'm not content with a lot of money. Like, I want to be a mogul. Like, I want to be a big shot. I want to be a bigger than big shot. And clearly, like, golf course design isn't his thing. Like, he's not interested in going down that road. He's looking at going down whatever road makes him a lot of money. And which is kind of funny then when you read his quotes, right? The quote that sticks out is, or there's a bunch of them. Let me start you with this one. So if the tour, he says, quote, this is in his article with Golf Digest on Wednesday. He says, if the tour wanted to end any threat from rival leagues, they could just hand back the media rights to the players. But they would rather throw $25 million here or $40 million there than give back $20 billion in digital assets they control, or they give up access to the $50 million plus that they make every year in their own media channel. There are many issues, but that one's the biggest. I know the No Laying Up guys brought this up too. $20 billion? Are you out of your... Can I swear on my own podcast? Are you okay with this, Ty? Would it hurt your ears?
No, absolutely.
Are you out of your fucking mind? There ain't no goddamn way that you're worth $20 billion on the... There's no way the tour's worth $20 billion. There's no way. No chance in hell. There is no way they've got $20 billion in the bank in digital assets. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. And at some point, I've said this specifically with the NBA lately. At some point you have to draw the line. These guys are getting $1.5 million for winning, the Toledo Potato Open, and, getting $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 for making cuts. They're getting $10 million a year from Adidas and Titleist. I'm just not sure where you draw the line. And I'm not ready to go there with golf, as they're not the NBA yet. But at some point, the people in charge, the people who are taking risks, and the people who are putting their noses on the line, and if things go belly up, they're the ones who are going to suffer, deserve to make a few bucks too. I've always been on that side of things. And if he really wants to be on that side of things, then go for it. Get into media. Get into that stuff. Go ahead. I think Phil thinks that if he started a tour tomorrow, players would follow him. I don't think that's true at all. There's too much going on the PGA Tour, and I think Phil is a little bit too much of a clown. And I don't mean that as harsh as it might sound. I don't know that anyone would really follow him.
I'm blown. The 20 billion number to me is like I just want to know, like, where do you get that from? Like, where are you pulling that number from? Because, like, there are television deals that Major League Baseball has, and I don't think Major League Baseball has $20 billion in the coffer. They're way bigger than the PGA Tour. I don't think the NBA's got $20 billion in digital media assets. Like, I don't think so. Like, how do you get $20 billion from a tour that gives back, how much of their profits to every tournament charity? That's how they're a 501c3 organization. How can you possibly sit on $20 billion? I don't get it.
Yeah, there's really nothing pointing to that. As far as, like I said, the PGA Tour is doing well, but that sounds like a little bit of a far-fetched number. Maybe he's just shooting for the moon, hoping to land among the stars. I'm not sure.
I guess, but it shoots the whole argument down, and then he uses that, and this is where I applaud Brooks Koepka for not suffering fools here. But because Phil says the tour's obnoxious greed is hurting them, and that's why we finally have leverage as players. And Brooks Koepka's like, not sure Phil's the guy that should be standing there talking about obnoxious greed. I thought that was a great line for Brooks Koepka. But he's right. Like, Phil's the wrong guy to send this message.
Yeah, and I don't know where Phil was anointed to represent this cause that again, he seems to be the only one really talking out about. Was it Brandel Chambly that kind of let Phil have it?
Yeah, Brandel Chambly did, and also I think Eamon Lynch. Well, Eamon Lynch has been after Phil and after anybody who plays in this Saudi international tournament for a couple of years. I mean, they've been banging this drum for a while. But yeah, Chambly really got after him on this one, which, kudos to him. And you can take Chambly with a grain of salt sometimes, but I think he was 100% right here.
Right. And I never really got a chance to say congratulations to Harold Varner III. He's one of the good guys in the sport. Seems like everybody likes him. He wears Jordans on the golf course, which I think is super cool. Big win for him. Came out of left field. I woke up on Sunday morning and looked it up and saw Harold Varner's name on top and almost didn't believe it. I thought maybe that was the JV tournament. No offense to him, but congratulations to him. It's usually a big name that wins over there. So for him to win that,
it is a nice win for Harold Varner. I hate the Saudi money, but he's going to get some really good world ranking points for doing that. He's getting himself to a place where he could maybe play his way into the Masters, because he's got himself at least back up in the top 60. So he's just got to climb a few spots and maybe can play his way into Augusta. So good for Harold Varner, like really good for him. I just wish he didn't play there. But I mean, again, a guy like him, I understand why you take the money, because you don't get $10 million a year, on the tour.
And I mentioned, I don't know if this was on the podcast that never got up, but I mentioned that, it was pretty easy to find the guys that you were rooting against if you just look up the field for the Saudi International. And then vice versa, watching the AT&T this week, guys that certainly could be either taking the week off or playing over in Saudi Arabia and chose not to. Spieth's one of those guys. He's kind of tied in with AT&T, and he's won the tournament a couple times. So definitely expected him to see him there. But there were some other names. Patrick Cantlay, now he is from California. But, it was easy to root for those guys and just say, hey, they're kind of showing loyalty to this tournament at this great golf course. That's going to have a lot of eyes. And it was easy to appreciate that. So,
and Jason Day was there too, and Jason Day, Justin Rose, and Will Zalatoris would have played. He got COVID. That would have made the field a lot better, obviously, if you would have had, Will Zalatoris in there, and maybe some other guy, a couple of these other guys. Daniel Berger withdrew with an injury. You add a Berger and you add a Zalatoris, all of a sudden that field gets a little bit better. But yeah, it was interesting to see. Now, what do you think, besides the fact that Phil wants more of the pie? Because we've been, Billy Horschel talked about this too. What else do you think is kind of driving some of this stuff? Why Phil's even said it's not about playing in the SGL, because he's 51 years old. He's not going to play long if he goes to the SGL. What is it about? I mean, it's about leverage. It's about having control and getting more pie. But getting more pie for what exactly? Like, what is the major beef here? Because I think I got an idea, but what do you think it is?
I'm sure it's on a general level. It's that he's fighting for position and kind of staking his territory or stating his case for, hey, don't be mad at me for turning on these guys. They were leaving us in the dust, but I don't specifically. I don't know where it's stemming from. Like we found out, a lot of what he does is money driven. So that's not hard to see. But I guess we'll see. where this is going to lead. It's it's certainly strategic. I hate to bring up Donald Trump on the podcast, but very much like everything he does probably has a reason. Phil's probably not doing this for no reason.
Here's here's my theory. And this is where the tour is in a tight spot, because the tour doesn't like the tour is not for like, it's really like a pay for play league, right? They don't have contracts, anything like that. You play for your tour card and you make your money and you try to stay in the top 125, and that's how it works. And guys like Phil are lifetime members. Like you get to a certain place where you get to be a lifetime member. Like Tiger could tee it up anytime he wants for the rest of his life. Phil, same thing. But I think there's this growing sentiment from the Phils of the world, from the Billy Horschels of the world, from some of these guys who are like, the tour makes a lot of money off of me. Like I get asses to the golf tournament, and Cameron Tringali makes $3 million a year and he draws nothing. I understand that. I get it. At the same time, I don't know how you fix that. But I feel like that's at the root of this. Don't you think? Like guys like Phil and guys like Jordan Spieth. Well, Spieth hasn't said this because I don't think this is what Spieth's all about. But the big name guys on tour are the ones who are driving the action. Every week they're like, hey, we need to fill up this field. We need a good field for this event. We need some headliners to help us draw a crowd. And it just feels like the guys who are really doing well, and this is not to pick on Troy Merritt because we love Troy here on the pod, but guys like Troy benefit from this system because he's getting paid a ton of money and all he's got to do is pop a top 5 here and there. And is Troy Merritt a draw? And that's where I think maybe Phil and Horschel are like, we need to get more of the pie up front. Maybe we need more of a fee or whatever to play these events. We need to have our beak wet a little bit more than just going out there and playing for the prize money. Thoughts?
Right, and there was a little bit of a reaction to this with the player impact program fund or whatever they wanted to call it. Now that only moved the needle for a few guys, right? I think it was the top 10.
Yep.
So 11, 12, whatever, got nothing from it. But I do think that there's just a better way to go about it. I guess I just don't totally know. Phil is kind of on his way out, right? Again, should be enjoying his last lap and his swan song, and yet he's kind of acting like he's at the height of his career, and he deserves more. And I'm just not sure that this is the time and place for it. You bring up a guy like Billy Horschel. Sure, yeah, he's going to draw a few people to a tournament. You look at, if it's a 3M Open and you see Billy Horschel's name, you'll probably mosey over there and watch him play a few holes. But aside from that, I don't see a ton of guys that are really going to move the needle. Now, Bryson DeChambeau has always kind of tiptoed that line. He can neither confirm nor deny pretty much everything that's being accused. He's certainly one of those guys that would move the needle and is at the height of his career and really would, I watched the long drive competition on YouTube and it was lagging 90% just because I wanted to see Bryson DeChambeau hit the ball. Right. So I'm just not sure that Phil's that guy, and I have yet to see any player tours really back him. So that's what I'm waiting to see from Phil is now if they really did anoint him and say, hey, Phil, you got nothing to lose. You're a lifetime guy. If you wanted to shake hands, you can come back to the Masters tomorrow. Then fine, but I've yet to see any evidence of that. So
yeah, and I think that you started to hear some of these other rumors that were floating around. Like you wonder what they offered Phil, the Saudis, because the rumor was they offered DeChambeau $135 million to be a part of this league. And just to put some perspective on that, Tiger Woods' lifetime earnings on the tour, now that's not including advertisements and other things like that he does. Lifetime earnings on the tour are like 134. So like he was going to get Tiger's career earnings in one shot from the Saudis. Now he's denied that. Bryson has said that's not what I've been offered, blah, 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 blah. But that number didn't come from nowhere.
Right. And like I said, that's probably I don't know what the total future goals are of this Saudi league or group of of dirty billionaires that are trying to draw these players away. But I mean, if Bryson's playing in a tournament, people are probably going to want to watch it.
That's true.
That's just a fact. And that's not the case with Phil. I'm sorry.
Phil winning the PGA was like the best thing and the worst thing, right? Like, it was cool in the sense that it's a great golf story that he won that, because at 50, I mean, that's incredible. But it's the worst because now Phil's insufferable, and like Phil's going to stink up the whole room with his farts for the next 5 years. It sucks.
Right.
So, I don't know. There's that. Look, you've already heard Jason Kokrak and Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter basically say, like, hey, you know, if I can go out and make $40 million and retire in 6 years, I want to do that. Like Jason Kokrak especially, which makes him sucks. Like, he sucks. I'm sorry. I can't root for Jason Kokrak under any circumstances, and I just won't. Westwood, again, if the Saudis get Westwood, Stenson, Mickelson, and all these other guys in their 40s and 50s, that league will die in 5 years. It'll go away very quickly. But you start getting DeChambeau and DJ and some of these other guys to say yes, and then we got something to think about.
And I totally agree with you on Jason Kokrak.
You can have
go
him.
away.
You can have him, Saudi. Saudi Arabia, you can have Jason Kokrak.
Sorry, Jason. And if I'm Jason Kokrak and I have a chance to make $5 million over my career, or 40, I'm probably going to choose that too. But I really don't think that the Saudis want to give Jason Kokrak $40 million. I just don't think that's the case. That's not going to draw any eyes. So good luck with that.
Yeah, and the thing is, they want to play all these tournaments in America. I think that's tough scene if you're Donald Trump, because they're looking at the Trump courses, in fairness. And that's, again, not to get political. I'm with you. Second time we've mentioned Trump on our golf podcast, which is a tough scene. I don't know if that's great for ratings or not, but the fact
that's
is,
the max.
The fact is, they're looking at his golf courses as potential venues to host these things, like Trump Doral and, you know, Trump Bedminster. And I get it, the PGA Championship and all these places have been pulled from Doral and Bedminster and all that stuff. But I can promise you, if they bring the Saudi Golf League to Trump golf courses, and then Trump decides he wants to run for president in 2 years, don't think they're not gonna hit him over the head with that 10,000 times in the advertisements. Like, there will be just pictures of Jamal Khashoggi and pictures of oppressed women and children from Saudi Arabia being put on the TV right next to Donald Trump's golf courses. Trump's not a stupid guy in that regard. I can't see him going for that. And if that's the case, if you don't have Trump's golf courses, which are great, where are you going if you're going to try to play golf in America? Like, where are we playing these events? Because you ain't getting on Riv, you ain't getting on Pebble Beach, you ain't getting on all these courses. Where are you playing?
Right. I had not heard that they wanted to play stateside.
They want to come here and they want to come here and play 10 right in the PGA's backyard, and they want to do it at like Trump Doral because it makes sense, because Trump Doral left, and they think, well, Trump will want to get back at the PGA Tour for taking the events out of there. But it's like, yeah, but there's politics involved now too. It's a tough scene. Like, the players want to act like the Saudi thing has nothing to do with why they want to go play golf. It has everything to do with everything else, though. The politics of this really matter, and the tour guys, if they don't understand that, they're idiots.
Well, Phil can go hit it around Majestic Crossroads with the Saudis if he really wants to.
You know what? The Majestic guys, they'd probably take that money, because if somebody drops a nickel, the Majestic guys are over there to pick that up every single time. You can bet. I mean, they are golf tournament whores. Anybody wants one, they'll be happy to give a turn. No problem at all.
Yep. Golf tournaments and golf leagues. That's all that's golf course is
all
about.
They want to be up here. Hey, there you go. Congratulations to you. Let's talk a little. So we've gotten into a little bit of that, and we'll stay tuned. Clearly a lot broke. Now, Phil's going to have to answer to the American media at some point, whether he plays this week at Waste Management or he plays at Riv. Sooner or later, he's going to have to stand in front of a guy, an American media press member in a press conference, and answer those questions at a PGA Tour event. Good luck. Can't wait to hear it. Let's talk Pebble Beach. We got to be encouraged by what we were seeing on Sunday. At one point, we had Cantlay, Spieth, and Merritt 1, 2, and 3 on the leaderboard, and I was excited and in the entire way.
Yeah, that was kind of unexpected from a weaker field, but obviously some players there. Great golf course. And it was a good tournament. And the broadcast the last couple of years has done the perfect job of showing no amateurs once we hit the weekend.
Yeah.
Unless they hit it in out of a bunker or some sort of other highlight, they showed no amateurs. I watched the tournament with my father-in-law, and we got to the final hole, and he said, "Who's that?" And I think it was Willie Nelson's grandkid playing with whatever.
Yeah.
Playing in one of the final groups.
Yep.
And I had to tell him that it was a Pro-Am. So they don't make it super evident unless you pay attention to the name of the golf.
The Saturday, they did a nice job of dialing it back. First of all, 2 years in a row now, no Clint in the press box. And I got to tell you, yay, yippee skippy. That's been fantastic. No Clint Eastwood in the press. That was the worst. It's way too much Bill Murray for me on Saturdays. Still way too much. We're seeing way too much Bill Murray. You're seeing way too much Macklemore. But I can live with it. I'll live with a little Macklemore on Saturday. I still need it's a little too much Bill. I need less Bill Murray. But you're right. On Sunday, it was about golf. It was about the pros.
Right.
And the golf course played great. The golf course really showed out. It was tough, yet they could make birdies. There was shot value. I was really in on the weekend golf at Pebble. Short of Jordan Spieth nearly dying on Saturday at the Cliff, just an action-packed weekend. It was great.
Yeah, they didn't need to show much for amateurs on Saturday. They shouldn't have, because all you needed to do was follow around Jordan Spieth, because he was dialed on Saturday. That was fun to watch. The wedges and the irons, I mean, he was hitting it to 4 feet like it was nothing. Didn't have to make much for putts. Sunday he was okay.
Yeah, he was 2-3 under par? He shot like 2-3 under. Yeah.
But very encouraged by the overall performance. I honestly didn't see it coming, even though it's a golf course he's comfortable with, a tournament he's won in the past. The sponsors are all there. His swing looked different. You and I talked about this. You could
this
tell
is what I want to talk
working
about.
Working on something in his pre-swing. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was alignment. I think it was more so taking the club back in a certain and almost correcting on the downswing. Again, it was real evident. But it must have worked, because again, it's not a tournament where you show up it's not a golf course where you show up in bad shape and compete like you did. So that's certainly a lot to take away from that, from a positive standpoint. So I was very encouraged.
I got to tell you, the swing scares the shit out of me. The pre-swing, everything looks like everything. Like when he takes that thing back, I'm like, there's no way he doesn't shank one of these, right? I mean, but yet the stats don't back that up. You felt like you were on a Spieth roller coaster all weekend, which is, by the way, part of the fun. You're not getting off the Spieth coaster ride. We've talked about this several times. Doesn't matter what he does. He felt more out of control than he was. Like he hit 70-some% of the fairways. He didn't really hit a lot of foul balls. And his iron game, even though the swing looks wacky and goofy, I mean, he was awesome. Like his proximity to the hole was phenomenal this weekend, and he was hitting the shit out of it. If he hits it like that, he's going to win a bunch.
Yeah, and he was shaping balls off the tee. Hit a couple low cuts. A few high cuts, but yeah, he was hitting the ball well off the tee, and that's I think on Sunday they showed a stat, something along the lines of, he was hitting 80% of fairways. He tends to hit 60% of fairways. So that just lends to the idea of how good of an irons player he is when he's dialed, because, to play these types of golf courses and hit the ball close, when again, he's had his moments with putting, but it hasn't been an all the time thing, right? He's had his struggles with putting, and he still can score because his iron play is just that good, and he's that good around the greens. Yeah,
even when he was struggling, he'd make a shitload of birdies, but he would just make a ton of double bogeys and bogeys, and it would just undo everything. The guy's a birdie machine, and he was scintillating on Saturday. I mean, he was absolutely sublime. Sunday was a bit more of a struggle, and even then, I don't think he really lost it. I mean, he hit what he thought was a really good shot on 17. It just didn't work out. And credit Tom Hoge. Like, Tom Hoge made putts and hit shots. It wasn't like he, played an hour in front of Spieth and posted a number with no pressure on him. He was playing in the group behind with pressure. Now, Spieth has the bigger group following him, no question about it. But he hit pressure shots to win the golf tournament. I give him credit.
Yeah, he went and got it. No one else challenged him for it, really, but they weren't going backwards necessarily. Cantlay was he just really could not get anything going, kind of was teetering behind him, and you kept thinking he was going to make a charge, and he just never did. But credit to Hoge. Now, can we call him one of us?
I think he's one of us, sure. Yeah. Is he Troy Merritt like one of us, where he actually went to school in the Metro and played some hoops here? No, I don't think so. But he's close, right?
Right. And I think he still lives in Fargo. That's all accounts. He still lives in Fargo, which is
if he still guts out Fargo if he is. Let's be clear. He has not been in Fargo this winter, has he? In this dump, no way. He hasn't been in this cold, this rat hole of a cold and snowy Midwest, has he?
I don't know.
Maybe
by all accounts, that's what he claims is
maybe he just hangs out at like a local bar and grill like Wintergreens. He's up there in Fargo just banging balls and drinking like Coors Lights and
he looks like he might be.
Yeah, maybe he does.
He's a pretty good golfer. He really is.
He's exceptional. He's very good.
Win, but I don't think it was fluky. He's a good player.
He could have won 2 weeks ago. Like he could have won at the Amex. He was right there a couple weeks ago. He's played well. Like there's a reason why now he's second in FedEx Cup points. It's because he already had 500-600. Now he's got 1,000. And like I said, good week for Troy Merritt because these are the kind of weeks that make Troy keep his card. These are the weeks that do it because he gets, he's got like 284 FedEx Cup points. Really like 350 gets you guaranteed into the 125. So like he's on his way. 1 or 2 more solid weeks from Troy, he's going to get in.
Right, yeah. Troy with some FaceTime this weekend. That's always fun to see. It's always fun. Sometimes he likes to hang around contention, but you're not going to see his face at all. But we got to see every shot on Sunday. Every shot after, certainly on the back nine, but after the first few holes. So, little story. So Troy's brother Tim, who we've had on the podcast,
yep,
he invites people to do what he calls beers for birdies. So every time he birdies a hole, you're supposed to drink a beer. So I was well oiled on the front, but got a little thirsty on the back. So Troy, we need to clean that up a little bit.
Let's go. If he was on the pace he was on the front nine, you would have been passed out, and you probably wouldn't have even seen the end of the golf tournament. You might not even be on this podcast.
I think he went out in 31.
He did. Speaking of which, we got to take this time in the podcast to ask, what's in the glass? Ty, what is in the glass tonight? What are we drinking?
Funny you should ask. So I am actually drinking an Italian Pinot Grigio at 2020. So not very well aged, but it is going down well. So thanks for asking. So I've been thinking a lot about this, though, and I already have some fun stuff cooked up for major weeks, especially Masters Week. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, geez. Can't wait. Cannot wait. That's going to be great. To think we are like less than 2 months away from the Masters. That'll get you excited.
We should do a live show.
We could do a little live thing. Yeah, I can work out we can get on our little Twitch live stream like Ryan does for us for the NFL draft. And we can take in.
I could even come over and we could mix a cocktail and we could do
just drink up. No, yes. Yeah, 100% we could do that. I love this idea. I'll get the place set up for you. So you can come on in. Okay. We can just pod this up. Watch. What do you want to do? Watch the final round together?
Sure.
I'm in. 100% in on this. Yeah. This will be great.
Do a little classroom.
Yes. This will be lovely. I cannot wait for this already. And then the NFL draft live stream in 2 weeks from then. You're going to drop in this year. You didn't get a chance to drop in last year. You're going to have to do that again this year. Got to get you in for 20 minutes of dialogue at least during the draft.
I'll be there.
Can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. This should be a fun draft for Vikings fans. So
you got to get in on it. It's fresh, new, and exciting. More football later. And, of course, football pod's coming up later this week with our Super Bowl preview. And Zach and Ryan will be here later this week to talk about all the coaching hiring, certainly all the drama around the coaching hiring and all the other stuff that's been going on in the NFL the last 2 weeks. And put a wrap, the season finale with the football guys, with Ryan and Zach this week. Crazy. Hard to believe.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, don't miss it. Can't miss it. And we'll mix them in, of course. They don't go away. Let's chat. So that was the AT&T. In the end, I actually thought this was a good showing for the AT&T. The course played well. We found a good mixture for the celebrities. I still think the rounds are too damn long, and I'd like to see more coverage at Spyglass, if at all possible. Now, I give them credit. We got to see quite a bit of Monterey Peninsula in the third round, which was pretty cool. But I'd like to see more of Monterey Peninsula and more Spyglass Hill. And I know that's probably a lot to ask of a crew, but man, that'd be sweet, because those are beautiful golf courses.
Right, and they're kind of the hidden gems of the United States, right? A lot of golfers would say they're one of the more difficult golf courses and beautiful setups. And yeah, we really haven't seen a lot of them because there's certainly no majors, no big tournaments that are being hosted there. So I totally agree.
And that's 17-mile drive where you can see Monterey Peninsula and links at Spanish Bay. Oh God, it's so good. Can't even talk about how beautiful those courses are from that highway drive. That is so nice. In fact, that's why I'm going back. I want to go back to Northern California just so I can pay the money to play links at Spanish Bay, maybe Monterey Peninsula. I know they're going to maybe make me play Pebble, but honestly, Pebble's third on my list. I want to play links. I want to play Spyglass, then Pebble, whatever. I can't wait. I want to do that in the next handful of years. That's going to be so good.
Doesn't Spyglass have is it a par 3 that you're all carry and it's, I don't know, 260, 250?
Do you know what's possible? I haven't played it in the sim in a while. I got to remember.
They definitely have a hole that's supposed to be like the hardest hole in golf.
They got a couple of really, I just know this on the simulator. We've reset it a couple of times when we've hit a couple holes where we're like, this is unfair. Even in the simulator, this is unfair. Who could play this hole? But
right.
Can't wait. I mean, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. All right, Ryan. Not Ryan. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, Tyus. Jesus. All right, Tyus.
Okay. I've been called worse things.
Yeah, there's worse things you could be called than Ryan, I guess. Although, I don't know if you could hang out in the same circles you hang out with if you were Ryan. But anyway, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, Waste Management Phoenix Open. This is a fun one for us, right? I know it's weird, and the 16th hole, I think, is a little overrated. The whole drunken, loud thing it's fine for 1 week. I'm glad, but I do think the assholery gets cranked up a notch at other tournaments because they see this at Phoenix and they're like, well, I want to do that at the next week, which drives me crazy. But this is a fun tournament still overall. The course is fun.
Right. And I really don't care what gets the players there as long as it gets a great field to the golf course. I'm all for it. So props to the Waste Management Phoenix Open, right? They've kind of organically created a really great tournament out of nothing. Now it's been going a long time, and if you look at the past winners, they've always kind of had great fields. But when I say that they created this out of nothing, of course, February in Arizona isn't nothing. These guys, would love to be in Arizona in February, but a lot of these guys live in Arizona and Florida, so shouldn't really be discounted. And I don't really think it's a destination golf course or anything like that. But the guys show up, and I don't think they show up because of the 16th hole. I think that really it's just a good tournament at a golf course they like, at a good time. This tournament's always had a great draw, both in person and on the TV, and that's competing with the Super Bowl.
That's true.
For 50 years.
Yeah, that is very true. And considering that
other tournaments that want to create something and want to create, their niche or their thing that makes them special, that makes people turn on the TV, I think they all should be watching this tournament because year after year they produce great fields and they tend to produce great winners. The last 7 winners of this tournament, I should have done research before I picked my FanDuel picks. But the last 7 winners are Brooks Koepka, Webb Simpson, Ricky Fowler, Gary Woodland, Hideki twice in a row, and then Brooks Koepka. So the winner's not going to be a no-name person. That's fair. And it's big. And the closing stretch outside, 16's nice, but then you got a 17, which is drivable. It's with water, like it's a risk reward short par 4, which is great. And 18's got a tough tee shot that's hard to hit the fairway with it. There's really good shot value to 18. They got a gettable par 5 early on the back 9 where you can get a number, maybe get an eagle look.
Like, there's some cool holes there that really make that thing volatile. And as you saw with Ricky a couple years ago, like, there are still some double bogeys and triple bogeys out there. And that's what makes that tournament kind of fun, especially if the weather turns to get some wind.
Right, the grass is very green, but they don't grow it in vast widths. So you better keep it on the planet, otherwise you're going to be in trouble there.
Yeah, Spieth played well here last year. This was sort of like the beginning of Jordan Spieth, like, coming back. Like, it was the Jordan Spieth tour when he came back to this one. Played well here, just came up short, and Koepka took it away from everybody in the final round. But it was like the first tournament where we were like, Jordan's coming back. Like, Jordan's got it. Will this be the time we see Ricky Fowler come back? Will this be the finally Ricky puts it together tournament, or no?
It's possible, but I honestly can't say if he does put it together. I'll put a whole lot of stock in it because he likes this tournament, he likes this golf course, and he tends to play well here. So I need to see him play well at other places. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Ricky plays well, certainly.
The field is
he's
loaded.
Won this tournament, and he's also let this tournament slip out of his fingers a couple times.
That's true, too.
So,
well, Ricky's done that a handful of times. This is a home game for a lot of guys. A lot of guys are going to play next week, too, with Riv. Now, that should be interesting, right? Because I got to assume we're going to see Tiger again at the scene of the crime a year later. Will we see Tiger next week, and what will his conversation be when it comes to the SGL? Obviously, he's not going to play it, but will he be outspoken at his tournament and make a firm stance in support of the tour next week?
I doubt it. In support, yeah, I think he'll be in support of the tour. I think he's brought a lot to the tour. I think the tour has been very good to him. I don't think he's into burning bridges. He's never really been a controversial guy. I think he'll pretty much take the corporate stance and stand back on that one. I don't see any fireworks coming either way from him.
Are you a little surprised we haven't heard from Tiger since the PNC? Do you think part of his plan was play the PNC, then duck away for a couple months, go work a little bit more, rehab a little more? But do you think he's had this time, kind of this couple week stretch sort of circled on the calendar? Or do you think there's something else there that we're missing?
No, I mean, as a golf fan, hopefully it means he's hard at work. And the thing about Tiger is he likes the limelight, but he hates the limelight at the same time. So, him being, completely off the grid is not really that atypical for Tiger. The only times we really see him pop up are when he's playing golf. So if he's not playing golf, it really isn't that surprising. His kids are kind of at that age where they're playing sports and accomplishing things, and good for him for hopefully being present for that. But no, it really doesn't surprise me a whole lot. And again, if he's bored, he may be popping up, but maybe he's hard at work and trying to get back for the Masters. So that's what golf fans are crossing their fingers for, certainly.
We still believe that that's what he wants to do, right, is play Augusta. Like, he doesn't want to play anything before. We're not going to see him play before Augusta, right? Like, it is Augusta and the Open, and that's probably it if he plays at all. The thing that I find weird is that we just haven't seen him. Like, we haven't seen an Instagram post. We haven't seen anything like that. And that's where I thought we would see a little bit more of him, especially after, we saw he was putting a lot of stuff out in front of the PNC, giving us some thoughts that maybe that we were gearing towards playing the PNC. We just haven't seen much of him. I'm fascinated to see the whole thing at Riv next week because of everything that surrounded Riv last year and everything that surrounded after. I'm kind of fascinated to get to that tournament. Plus, I like Riviera in general.
Right. Is this the tournament that Sam Burns kind of had a stranglehold on? Did he end up winning?
No, this is Max. Max Homa won Riv last year. And that's just it. Max was trending well too. So Max Homa's trending pretty well in California. I think this is a good week for Max Homa. Next week at Riv's going to be a good week for him. Sam Burns, though, is in the mix. He's been, although I've been waiting on him here. I feel like he needs to step up, play a little better here. A lot of guys getting injured. I got to throw this out before we get to our picks. A lot of guys seemingly getting injured. Berger's injured. Bryson yanks out of the Saudi with an injury. A lot of people are making a big deal out of the Bryson injuries. Like, well, you can't swing the way he swings and not have pain. Bryson says it's nothing. He slipped and fell. Where do you come down on some of these injuries? Do you think all the hard swinging and all of the let's maximize ball speed stuff is coming home to roost? Or is this just early year, much ado about nothing stuff?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that Bryson did slip on wet concrete playing ping pong. It sounds like a little far-fetched, but...
yeah, I don't buy that at all. Who plays ping pong on concrete anyway? What are we doing? Is he Forrest Gump? I don't buy this.
He can say that it had nothing to do with swinging hard, but also when you're working out that hard and swinging that many times, your body's tense and you can get injured doing other things. I found this out in my own personal life, right?
Yeah, because you work out. So, you're pumping iron. You're a muscular guy.
Not necessarily suggesting that, but as far as when you're active and you're tense, and I mean, it can happen, right? These overuse injuries don't have to come on the range. You can be worn down, and I don't know. Didn't Dustin Johnson fall down the stairs at the U.S. Open or at the Masters?
At the Masters,
it does happen.
It does, but he was complaining of injuries, though, the week prior before he even went to the Bonesaw. Like, you saw him struggling at Torrey. He missed the cut. He was constantly holding his hand and holding his side and holding everything. I don't know. I think there's more there. I don't know if it's something or nothing, but it's certainly... I don't think it's nothing. I don't know if it's something, but it's not nothing. That's where I'm at.
Right. You're probably right.
We got to keep an eye on Bryson and see when he tees up again and if this is something that lingers, right? I'm curious. All right, let's talk points in our never-ending chase. Right now, you're looking good. You're just looking like you're going to clean up this year because I can't gain any ground. After Torrey Pines, you led by 262 FedEx Cup points. And now after this week at AT&T, you lead by 315. Basically, I need a win. I need a high finish from somebody, but I have gone ice baby cold, vanilla ice cold. Cannot make up ground against you. You're on fire, Ty Shrub.
Well, I don't want to take anything away from myself, and I won't. So, kudos to me. But bold prediction, I would bet any amount of money. I'm not going to say I'm going to lose. I think I'm confident I'm going to win the season-long competition. But at some point, for the listeners at home, don't tune out of this segment. At some point, we will be tied or Tim will take a lead on me. That's just how it goes. It's a long season.
The thing is, I got to pick a winner. I got to pick a winner at some point. Like, I got to pick a guy who's going to finish one or two. Like, this notion, I mean, the best my guys are finishing right now are like T15, T20. Like, I can't get a sniff. It's been brutal.
A lot of golf left.
There is a lot of golf left, which is a good thing. So I need all the help I can get this week. Anything else we want to get to? Or should we pick? Should we get to some picks?
Let's pick, and then I want to give you some trivia.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Little trivia from Ty. Ty's trivia coming up after the picks. All right, let's go with the picks then. You are my guest as always, Ty. So I'm going to let you have first shot.
So I went with the low-hanging fruit. I went with the tried and true player here at Waste Management. I went with Ricky Fowler for $9,500 for a guy who always tends to compete. You can't really say he's the hot hand.
Not the hot hand.
He always tends to compete here for $9,500. I thought that was good value.
It is good value, and I was going to do it too, but since old Slick Rick, I told myself after he totally botched Torrey Pines, where he shot 6 under on day one and missed the cut, I said, never again. Never again.
That's something.
Not taking right? Phil, not taking Rick.
Yep.
At least they got to prove it to me.
You did announce that.
I did announce
the moratorium on it.
I am declaring a moratorium. All right. So I'm going a little chalky. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm trying to find the diamond in the rough. I'm going to play big hitters, as many of them as I can get on the team. I'm going to take, with my first pick, I took Jon Rahm. Guy's an Arizona guy. I know he's a Spaniard, but I'm hoping the hot-tempered Spaniard at Scottsdale will give me a little something. I need a high finish from the best ball striker and the number one player in the world.
And in classic Bill Belichick fashion, what do? I take away your best player. I went Jon Rahm for $12,100. Every time he laces him up, he has a chance to win, and I knew you'd take him, so I'm just trying to play good defense here.
You're such a scumbag. God, you're such a scumbag. You are. You're such
Absolutely, I am.
God, I hate your guts. You took 3 of my guys last week. You sniped 3 guys last week, and you ended up winning by 50 points. God damn it. Anyway.
How does that happen?
God, hate you. All right, number 2 for me then. I'm taking Scotty Scheffler. He's going to win one of these. He's going to win this year. I want to be there when he does. Come on, Scotty.
Yep, he is. I did not take Scotty Scheffler.
Let's go, Scotty. Come on, man.
I did look at him though because he likes playing here. He likes playing in this part of the country. He's comfortable there. So good pick. I like that a lot. So I went with a value guy. This is my cheapest guy of the week by almost $2,000. I went with a guy who I think has a better than 50% chance to make the cut. I went with Adam Schenk. My guy.
Nice. Well, you do like to take a guy named Schenk. I mean, golf, if you can get a guy named Schenk on your team, that's the way to do it. No,
that's a great golf
I actually that's where I have not been successful this year. I have not been able to pluck out the sneaky guy. Like last week, to pluck a Troy Merritt would have been huge, right? To get a big finish like that out of him. But I'm not picking those diamonds in the rough very well. You know, I gambled on Sahith Theegala thinking that was going to happen. He made the cut and got me 3 points. Congratulations.
Yeah, I played a head-to-head last week, and I played against Hoge, Merritt, and Cantlay.
Ugh.
You can't do much there.
No, can't. It's tough. It's a tough scene. Can't do much when that happens.
Right.
So you're taking Schenk. I'm going to take Max Homa. I feel like, you know, I don't know if Max has played great. I mean, he won the Fortinet in Silverado at the beginning of the old wraparound. I don't know if Max has played well really since. Not that he's had to. I mean, he's cinched up for his card with the win and everything, but I'd like to see Max play well again and get back on the saddle here a little bit. He's gearing up. He likes playing in the West. You know, he likes playing California, Arizona. He likes this part of the country. I expect him to play well this week.
Right. He played really well last year during this swing. I'm not specifically sure about TPC Scottsdale, but a guy that you can't discount a win. A win is a win, right? That's the name of the game for these guys when they're trying to keep their job. But yeah, a guy that I was kind of looking for a lot from end of last year, early this year, and I just really haven't seen it. So he's a good golfer though, and I wouldn't say he's young, but he's young enough that his best golf still could be to come. So we'll see.
I agree. Your 4th guy. So far, I got 2 live players. I like that. I got 2 live picks.
My 4th guy, I went with a guy that you hate, and I love to hate, Tony Fenow for $10,900. Really nothing to go on with Tony Fenow, but it's one of the best golfers in the world, and you know he's a name that you wouldn't. I shouldn't say this. You wouldn't be surprised to see do well. You would be surprised to see he wins because he doesn't win.
He doesn't win anything. Yeah, no. I mean he won the Northern Trust last year.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. I'm excited for him. You know what? I'm going to take a guy I like. You know, he's normally a guy who contends. You can't count on him to contend 2 weeks in a row, but not this guy because I think this guy plays heaters about as well as anybody. I'm taking Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth in contention this week. I think he plays well here. He can spray it around a little bit here and survive. The only thing I worry about is the water ball and the big miss, but it looked like he didn't really have a big miss last week, even though the swing looks weird and he looks weird and he's a bucket of nerves. I got to go. I'm gonna ride it. I'm gonna ride the hot hand here with Spieth and see if he can get on a little heater.
Yeah, I think this golf course sets up well for Spieth. And like you said, he's had good results. Last year he was T4. So I don't dislike that pick at all. And there's plenty of trouble to find at Pebble, and he didn't seem to find a whole lot of it. So we'll see. Spieth is one of those guys. This might be for another podcast, but when he first was making his surges at Augusta, I was not a fan. He was kind of challenging the guys that I was a fan of. And he might be my favorite golfer on planet Earth right now. So
100%.
Yeah, I love him. So
absolutely,
always
my favorite
be rooting
player.
For Spieth. So
he is box office. If there's guys who do move the needle, like Jordan Spieth, if he wanted to, could say, "Look, I legitimately put butts in the seats, and I legitimately draw television ratings. So if anybody has a beef about Cameron Tringali making money, it's me. And I'm fine with it. Same with Rory. If anybody's going to complain about Sahith Theegala making money off of me, it's me. It's not Phil. It's not any of these guys. It's not Billy Horschel. Nobody wants to watch Billy Horschel. All right.
Right.
All right. So I got Spieth. Where are you going next?
All right. Next, I am going a guy who's made 8 cuts this year. I'm going with Si Woo Kim. $9,200.
Former Players Champion. The only reason I'm scared of him is like he's feast or famine guy. Like he either is in the top, he's in the top 2, 3, or he misses a cut.
Right.
But if you get him in the day where he's, running things, you're going to be in good shape. He can make birdies though in like just waves when he gets it rolling. Speaking of guys who get it rolling, I'm going to take a guy who has won on the tour, and he's a long hitter, and I want to see how he plays on courses like this. Now, the thing is, he's seen courses like this for the first time ever because he had played in Europe and played in South Africa. So this is new territory for him. But I actually think courses like this are good for him, and I think he'll play well. I'm taking the lefty. I'm taking Garrick Higo, who won at Congaree last year. But we're talking about a relative rookie on the PGA Tour. There are a lot of venues he has not seen, and this is one of them. But he's an absolute steal at $8,600 or whatever it was I paid for him.
Right. Certainly one of those, you could say, boomer bust picks. Higo. I like him. Certainly rooting for him. We need more lefties, right?
Yes.
We can drown out Phil a little bit. With my 6th pick, I had a lot of money left over, and I glazed over some pretty solid guys for someone who I think kind of has the experience and the moxie and the wherewithal to win a golf tournament like this. A guy that you and I have seen in person, very impressive in person, Louis Oosthuizen. Not my normal pick, not my usual pick.
No, not your normal guy.
Yep. So I don't know if I've ever picked Louis, but
you feel like this is a good Louis course. You feel like this is a good Louis course, though.
But
don't you feel like this is a good course for Louis? I think it's a good course for Louis.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like him on any course. He's just a good golfer when he needs to be.
The last guy I'm going to take, and I don't know if his golf is good. Like, I don't know if he's a good golfer yet, but he is a brand right now. I'm going to take the unbuttoned shirt of Harry Higgs for my last pick. I don't know if Harry Higgs is good. Like, I don't know either. I don't know if he's good. Like, but Harry Higgs is on TV a lot. And it's because he's got a big personality, and he's Mr. Unbuttoned Shirt, and he just seems like a dude you want to hang out with. And he's kind of got a little tin cup McAvoy to him, and that kind of is exciting. But yeah, I don't know if he's a winning golfer on the PGA Tour. But I'm going to hope that he gets me a cut this week. He needs to make a cut.
Right. And he did a segment or an episode with, it was either No Laying Up or it was the Barstool guys. And they played against Harry Higgs and they waxed him. He played terribly. But Harry Higgs is a guy who there's kind of he has the potential. He just really hasn't showed up yet, much like an Aaron Wise and a Bo Hostler. So we'll see.
Bo Hostler's
the jury's
weird.
Still out on him.
I thought Bo Hostler was going to be really good.
Yeah. He's got a temper on him.
Yeah.
I'm not, okay, I don't want to be
like a crab-ass temper. Not a temper. Like, tempers are fine. Like, Rahm's got a temper. Bo Hostler just looks like kind of a, like he gets a little pissy. Like, he gets a little poly pissy pants out there. And I don't know if that's,
right.
Like, I don't know if, angry's one thing. The fiery Spaniard, like Serge or whatever. And even Serge gets a little poly pissy pants. Rahm just gets pissed off. Like, I want to see him, like, just play good golf. I think Bo Hostler should be a winner on the tour. It's weird that he hasn't won.
Yeah, and last week showed me he probably is trending in the right direction because there were times where he couldn't make a cut.
That's true.
So we'll see. But yeah, not a guy that I want to be successful. I'm not rooting against him, but not a big fan of the visor. He certainly needs to hire someone to do his closet because he dresses like a total dweeb. But
he dresses like a 45-year-old man, and he's like 23 years old or 25 years old.
Right. But jury's out on him as well. So we'll see.
All right. Well, there's our picks this week. I went a little chalkier than Ty. I got to make some points back. This has got to be a big week. And the only guy who's out of play is Jon Rahm. Everybody else is in play for both of us.
We're probably going to have a double up every week.
Yep.
Because we talk about golf all the time.
That's
right?
true.
So if
you know
I have
where I'm at.
Take, you're probably going to know about it, and same thing goes vice versa. So,
and quite honestly, it's probably good that Rahm's off the board, because the one thing I don't want to do is leave Rahm unchecked in front of you. I can't let that happen.
Right. Yep. I agree.
All right. You have trivia. Ty's trivia.
All right, Sam.
Let's do it.
My favorite time of the week. It's my turn to try to stump you. I think I might have you this week. So
okay.
I always try to. I'm disappointed we didn't get to my questions last week because they were pretty good. They were centered around the California swing.
Mm-hmm.
But not you would. So a lot of people think of Arizona being a golf destination, and they have all these great golf courses. Not a lot of golf history necessarily. Not a lot of golfers were born in Arizona, right? The list is pretty slim. You'd be surprised. A lot of guys reside in Arizona.
Yep. Because
of the great golf courses and the great country clubs. But we'll do our best here. So the first ever Phoenix Open, Waste Management was not involved at this point. It was in 1939. Who was it won by, and what was the prize? And I'll give you 3 options for each. So Byron Nelson, Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, and the prize was either $250, $700, or $1,250. So let me know and I can reread those.
All right.
Nelson, Hogan, Snead.
It feels like a Snead tournament, but I wonder if it's too early for Snead. Hogan is more. I know Hogan and Nelson are kind of contemporaries, but I do feel like Hogan really got going in the 40s and into the 50s. So I guess I'm gonna lean Nelson for $750. All right, what's my answer? You're muted. Am I correct or not?
Yep, you are correct. Sorry.
Look at that.
You know me too well. So, 27-year-old Byron Nelson, up and coming, bested Hogan by 12 strokes and collected $700. So you are correct. You said $750, but you had the correct.
Yep. Okay. So all right. $700.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Hogan was kind of like ready to hit his stride in the 40s. Now, of course, the accident hits in the 40s, and he's a different golfer. He's almost better playing 6 tournaments a year after getting hit by a bus. But there's a lot of tournaments that Hogan kind of gacked away, too. Could you just imagine how many more that guy would have? I mean, he gacked a few away. And Nelson was one of those guys that took a lot from him early on.
And there was a period where Byron Nelson actually hosted this tournament after 1939. So that would have been an unfair clue, but nice work there. And I like that there was logic. It wasn't a guess. So for the listeners out there, there was logic there. That was impressive. So moving on. So again, there's not a ton of PGA Tour players that live in Arizona.
Well, that were born there, you mean? That were born, right?
Yeah, sorry, were born there. I need you to name 2 past or present PGA Tour players that were born in Arizona.
Holy cow. Born in Arizona.
I won't make you dwell over this one too much because it's a bit of a trick question just because there's really no obvious answers.
There are no obvious answers here.
Lots of guys who played college golf in Arizona.
A lot of guys who played college golf. Yep. I guess I'll just take a couple of wild guesses. I don't think I know any of these, but because I think most of the guys are either California. Like, it's really easy to say, like, you know, because like Homa is born in California, I think. Phil, Tiger, all California guys. I'll guess I'll take a shot at some older guys like Scott McCarron or something like that, and then maybe current guys. Yeah, I'm not Not really sure I got one. Help me out. Give me one.
I won't make you sweat over this. So Michael Thompson was born in.
Yeah. I would have never. You could have given me 100 guesses.
He was born in. I can't remember, whatever the mountain town is. Rich Beam is the
Beamer. Okay.
He is the kind of the biggest name. And then the current kind of up and comer Nate Lashley. Those are the only three that I could find.
Wow.
That you would have ever guessed.
So the Almighty and the Almighty, the Beamer, and who was the first one?
The 3M.
And the 3M Michael Thompson.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, I would have sat there and guessed for 100 years. I would have not guessed those guys.
Like I said, trick question. That's a tough one. So no harm, no foul there. So this one I think you'll get. So what famous golf movie, and I'll give you a clue, was filmed at the Tubac Golf Resort in Tubac, Arizona? Tubac.
Okay.
Famous golf movie. No question. That's not a trick question. And I'll have a hint for you if you don't know.
All right. Recent or old?
Not recent.
Okay. My guess is it doesn't. So older, we're thinking.
Yep.
Like 1960s, like The Caddy with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Nope.
Okay, so not that old.
Right. Post.
Tin Cup doesn't feel like it would be that, though, right? I mean, is it Tin Cup? You wouldn't think it was Tin Cup.
So my hint is a quote. Somebody tell this clown he doesn't have to hit it from there. I know you want this one bad.
I do. But God,
and it's tough because the movie's not based in Arizona. It's just shot in Arizona.
Someone tell this clown he doesn't have to hit it there.
He doesn't have to hit it from there. And that you'll want it even more after you hear the answer.
So it's not Tin Cup, because I don't believe that line's in Tin Cup. Is it? I'm going to go Tin Cup. Yeah, Tin Cup.
It's Tin Cup. Yep.
All right, I'm going to go Tin Cup. There you go. It's Tin Cup.
So I did go back and I watched the YouTube clip of him hitting the ball in the water on 18, sitting at 9 under, has a good chance to win, and he hits the ball in the water, hits the ball in the water, hits the ball in the water. And the announcer says, will somebody tell this clown he doesn't have to hit it from there?
Yeah,
because they wanted him to move up. And then his caddy tells him, this is our last ball.
And he says, I can make it.
This in the drink, we are disqualified. And he hits the ball in. So,
and that's a great scene. And all I think about is Cheech Marin's line right there. That's right. I just think of Cheech Marin's line and when he says I can make it, he's like, well, okay, so do it and quit fucking around. And it's a great line. It's a really great line. I love Tin Cup. I haven't seen Tin Cup though in like 5 years, mainly because Golf Channel doesn't want to run that one. Golf Channel's got to run the greatest game ever played 10,000 times, or the Legend of Bagger Vance 10,000 times. They don't want to run.
Which are worth watching, but they're not classic golf movies that purists like. Now, I do have a quick story. It makes me think of Cheech. So we were playing, a buddy of mine and I were playing at North Fork, and they paired us up with a single. And we're playing with this guy, and he's not talking a whole lot. He's a shorter guy with long hair, and all of a sudden we kind of get to the back nine. You're kind of tucked back into the woods there as you tee off. Not necessarily 10, but 12 for sure, 13. And all of a sudden he says, do you guys smoke? We're like, I don't know. Are you a cop? kind of thing. And he just breaks out a 1E or whatever, a one hit. And so then all of a sudden he loosens up and we're talking to this guy, and I'm bummed out because I can't remember the name, but turns out that this guy is a senior PGA Tour caddy.
Oh,
for a player of note. And again, I can't remember who it was, but his player had a hurt wrist at the time. So he was back in Minnesota hanging out, playing some golf and smoking some weed. So
it's probably Rocco Mediate's caddy. You feel like Rocco pounds, he pounds a lot of cigars. You got to feel like Rocco occasionally just pounds the little Chiba right before the round. And I mean, come on.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Guy
but it
plays a
wasn't
lot of his
Rocco.
rounds at Golden Valley Country Club without shoes on. So I got to assume that he's a little toked up. So come on.
It was a bigger name than Rocco, and I'll think of it, and I'll circle back.
All right, I like that. You keep at it. Keep working at it, Ty. You're doing great. Keep getting us these trivia. This is good trivia stuff. I like Ty's trivia at
You're
the end of
doing
the
a good job.
I'm
I
hanging
have to
in there.
Start making them even more difficult.
I don't know
The
about
only
all
one you
that.
didn't get right is
Some
the
of those
one
were
that
tough.
I knew you wouldn't get right.
Yeah, some
It
of
was
those are tough,
impossible.
though. You don't have to make it too. It's just good to educate the listeners, is what we're trying to do here. Anyway.
No, I'm trying to stump you.
All right. Well, very well. Well, there we go. We made it. It's been a couple weeks since I've been able to do a pod, so I want to say thank you to all the listeners who've kind of waited patiently. We took a little breather there. I battled the Omicron. We had some tech issues. Had to get my speech team up and running. It's been a busy speech season so far. So I want to thank the listeners for kind of hanging patient with us, and we're going to crank out a lot of content soon. Got some, again, football stuff coming up this week. Once football's done, I know we've got a couple of, try to get some fun pods rolling in here too. Got to get Lauren back on. And we're trying to get Derek on for a little bit more Shoot the Breeze stuff. I've been watching Cobra Kai just so we can do some Karate Kid stuff. So it's going to be great. Got a lot of stuff planned for the kind of the football off season. And of course, Ty and I are going to try to get in here a little more consistently as we work our way to the Masters and keep catching up with the PGA Tour and all the surrounding things that are going on with that. So good stuff. You can find us Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Rate us, give us 5 stars, share us out, make a comment, send me an email, timpodcast1@yahoo.com. All of those good things. We would appreciate you. So for next time, thank you, Ty, by the way. Appreciate you. You're the man. So for Ty, until next time, for Ty, this is Tim saying keep your head up, and we'll see you.